Sometimes the most famous stories aren't just stories. Sometimes they're maps. That's what we're diving into today, a map hidden in plain sight in the life of the Nazarene. This is all about the soul's journey, what we're calling the alchemy of the God-man. So let's just start with a big question, one that kind of flips the script. What if one of the most well-known life stories in history wasn't just meant for worship? What if it was actually a coded blueprint for your own personal transformation? Not a life to be copied, but a code to be cracked. That's the idea we're running with today. All right, so our journey kicks off with the first of three massive changes. It's called the first metamorphosis, and here the spirit is like a camel. Yeah, a camel. This is the part of the journey all about willingly taking on a heavy, heavy load, getting ready for the tough road ahead. So, what does it actually mean to be a camel? Well, picture this. The spirit literally kneels down, ready to carry the great weight of tradition. We're talking about all the rules, the countless thou shouts handed down through generations. You can think of it like the Nazarene's so-called hidden years, that time of intense discipline, mastering the old law by becoming its perfect student. But here's the thing. This heavy load, it's not a punishment, it's training. The idea is that you have to carry the heat of the desert before you can truly earn the right to be thirsty. It's like you can't break the rules until you've mastered them, right? You gotta know a system inside and out before you can ever dream of transcending it. Okay, so after carrying all that weight, something incredible happens. The spirit transforms, and I mean radically. This takes us to the second metamorphosis, the spirit as a lion. We're going from a beast of burden to the king of its own desert. It's all about conquering freedom. Now, the lion has one job, and it's a fierce one, to seize freedom. But, and this is super important, the lion isn't creating new rules yet, not its job. Its whole purpose is to smash the old ones, to break the chains of the past. It's clearing the ground, making space for something new to grow. And this right here, this is the showdown. On one side, you've got this ancient great dragon of tradition hissing thou shalt for thousands of years. But on the other side, the lion rears up and roars back, I will. This is the Nazarene becoming the breaker of the Sabbath, right? He's standing up and declaring his own authority against these rigid, old laws. So what's the end game for the lion? Simple. Total liberation. By slaying this dragon of the past, the spirit finally breaks free. No more being a slave to old ideas, to the crushing weight of history. It's about taking back its own will, once and for all. And then, out of the ashes of that huge battle, comes the final and maybe the most surprising transformation, the third metamorphosis. The spirit becomes a child. But here's the twist. This new life doesn't start with a bang. It starts with a death. Okay, let's walk through this because it's deep. First, you have the crucifixion. In this symbolic reading, that's the ultimate no to the world and everything it stands for. And in that moment of surrender, the lion's ego, that fighting, struggling, I will, it just stops. It dies. And only from that death can something new be born, the child, which is all about a sacred yes to life. So what is this child really? It's a fresh start, a self-propelling wheel. It's about pure, innocent creativity. The child isn't fighting anymore. It's playing. Existence becomes this divine game, way beyond our old ideas of good and evil. It's a sacred forgetting of all the old wounds, and instead, you have this pure, raw instinct of a brand new world. Okay, so we've gone through the poetry of the parable. Now, let's put on a different pair of glasses and look at this psychologically, because this is where this whole story really clicks into place as a map for what Carl Jung called individuation. That's the huge, lifelong journey of becoming a truly whole person. And when you look at it this way, the parallels are just, wow. The camel? That's our social mask, our persona. It's us obeying the rules of the group, the collective unconscious. Then the lion? That's us finally turning around to face our shadow, battling our own inner demons to take back our personal power. And the child? That's the goal. The fully realized self. It's what bridges our human side with the divine and makes us whole. So if you zoom out and look at the whole arc, you see this amazing progression. It's a journey from the heavy earth of laws and duties up into the light air of a free and creative spirit. You're moving from a life where the world defines you to a life where you define you. What this all boils down to, really, is a choice. A fork in the road for every single one of us. It's a choice between two possible paths: the path of the overman, this evolved being, and the path of what's called the last man. So who's this last man? Well, he's the person who gets stuck. He might be a camel who makes fun of tradition but never bothered to master it. Or maybe he's a lion who's lost his roar, too scared to fight for anything real. He's afraid of the struggle, so he just picks the easy way out, a life of what's called toothless comfort instead of real, hard-won growth. And here's the contrast laid bare. You've got the broad way, that's the easy route, the path of the last man. He refuses to go into the desert, he doesn't want the lion's fight. Then there's the narrow gate. That's the tough path, the path of the three transformations. It requires you to sacrifice your ego, but for a much bigger prize, becoming your total self. And this, really, is the whole point of this explainer. The message isn't go and be exactly like this person. No, it's an inspiration. The real lesson here is that you're not supposed to mimic someone else's walk. You're supposed to undergo your own metamorphosis, to make your own journey from beast to creator. This also gives us a totally different way to look at that famous line, God is dead. In the context of this parable, that's not some grand statement about the universe. It's a personal diagnosis. God is dead only becomes true for the people who refuse to take the journey, who refuse to find and become the God within. So it all comes back to you. We're left with this one big question. If this ancient life is a map for your own inner transformation, where are you on that map? Right now, in your life, are you the camel, the lion, or the child?